Finding your voice is a journey. Whether we're talking about your singing voice or your authentic self-expression as a whole, as you set out to explore and discover the truth about who you are and how you were designed and what makes you unique and what makes you just as human as the rest of us. And, how you're called to use your voice in the world. You will inevitably be asked to step outside of your comfort zone and face the unknown. In today's episode, we're discussing this step, taking the risk to travel beyond what is known and opening up to what isn't. We're talking about finding your voice, finding the courage to step outside of your comfort zone and into the unknown, and how this applies to your singing practice. Because there is this beautiful phenomenon that occurs when seeking to find your singing voice. You actually find so much more. Welcome to Reawaken Your Voice. I'm Lainey Prendeville Crawford, holistic voice coach, singer, song weaver. I believe the song in your heart holds medicine for yourself and for the world. And yet too often, something happens along the way. We shut down our voice and our song goes unsung. Whether you stopped singing years ago or have always harbored an unrealized dream to start, if you're ready to finally give voice to those unsung songs in your heart, then take my hand as I guide you to free yourself from the inner critic, reignite your creativity, find your courage, sing with confidence, and reawaken those dormant parts of yourself aching for a revival. So dust off your songbooks, tune up your guitar, bust out your singing bowls, your shakers, your drum. Actually, all you really need is your voice, your breath, open ears, and an open heart. Let's play. In a broader sense, finding your voice is getting in touch with who you are and what you value and what you believe in as a human being. It means thinking for yourself, being a free thinker, discerning your beliefs from those of others, knowing thyself so that you feel confident in expressing that self in the world. Now, in a narrower sense, in terms of finding your singing voice as a singer, you're figuring out your range, your tessitura, like where your voice feels comfortable, where it feels at home, where it sits really beautifully in the range. Your style, understanding how to navigate the different parts of your voice. In order to open up your singing voice and find your singing voice, you have to step outside of your vocal comfort zone. You have to go beyond what you know or believe to be true about your voice and open up to possibilities of things you haven't seen or felt or experienced or heard before coming through your voice. In order to open up your singing voice, you have to step outside of your vocal comfort zone to explore the vast wilderness of your voice and all the unknowns therein. But how? How do we do this? How do we tap into this voice of the wild and unleash it into the world? It begins with vocal play. Yes, vocal play. Play, as in not serious, and definitely fun. Fun is required. But in playing with your voice, you're learning through it, just as children learn through play. You're learning about your voice, its capabilities. And we're doing it in like a low stakes, low risk environment where there's nothing to lose. Play is second nature. But as we grow up, sometimes we forget. And as we begin to take our singing practice more seriously, we sometimes forget the importance of play and the joy of vocal exploration, which is what leads us to new discoveries. When we seek, we find. We find our authentic voice through play, experimentation, failure, getting to know what your voice likes, what it doesn't like, its strengths, its weaknesses, how it reacts in certain situations. Getting to know your voice by spending time with it in a lighthearted way. You know, a lot of times singing can feel heavy if we're singing about heavy emotions or sensitive topics, like real human life stuff. And we care so much that we want to do it right. We want to do it well. So it can be transformative to step back from that heaviness and unburden ourselves from the weight of it needing to sound good or to display proper vocal technique, and just allowing yourself to simply play for fun, for the adventure of setting out on a journey with an unknown destination. So how do we play? What does it mean to play in terms of your voice? I laugh because it seems like a silly question, but it's an honest one. Okay, so what do I do? Like, how do I do this vocal play thing? I'm laughing because I've been there where I totally forgot how to play. I was so serious and so hard on myself. I had like a death grip on my voice, like shaking it, like, why won't you do what I want you to do? But through learning or remembering how to play with my voice, I set myself free from all of that. And that helped me to move beyond what felt familiar and comfortable to explore my voice as a playground and like a wide open field that I could frolic in. And roll down the hill and do somersaults and cartwheels and pick some flowers, put them in my hair, like that childlike kind of play. That's what we want to tap back into and remember. You know, being out in nature, awakening all of our senses, curiosity. So how do we play? Well, I think of vocal play as vocal exploration. We are exploring the various sounds and pitches and textures and tone colors that the voice is capable of creating. So this starts with sound, creating sound. So first, this can look like lip trills and sighs, and sliding up and down through the voice on various vowel sounds. You can, move into exploring staccato versus legato. Like staccato is short and detached, da, 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 and legato is that smooth, connected, flowing sound. So we're playing with different sounds, different consonants, vowel sounds, nonsensical sounds. You can scat. So scat is like singing on syllables that have no meaning behind them, but you're just playing with these different sound effects. Like think child's play when it comes to this. Try to make it sound bad. See what that sounds like and what that feels like. Make some sound effects. Like, what would the color purple sound like? What does frustration sound like? What does ice skating sound like? Or what does a leaf blower sound like? What about water or air? Or earth, or fire. I think about my son's music class, the singing circle with the kids and their parents and caregivers. And they encourage vocal play with animal sounds and the playful highs and lows and different sound effects. Like, it's just play, but it's so much more than what it seems on the surface. You're just playing with these sounds, but what you're really doing is becoming comfortable with doing things that might feel a little strange or a little weird or are less acceptable as an adult, like you're playing and exploring. You're getting past that initial inclination to close off and silence yourself and hold back and not let yourself go there. Rather than feeling those inhibitions creep up, you're just letting loose and anything goes with sounds that you can create. So have fun with this. Next, you're moving into an exploration of your range, your vocal range, the high notes and the low notes. Like, where are those extremes and what's it like to live in that upper realm or to travel into that lower resonance? Now, initially, this can be very playful and you're just kind of touching those areas with your voice. But then you can take it a little further and do some vocal exercises, some of those more traditional warm-ups that help you open up into the higher range or relax into the lower range as well. A lot of times when I'm working with people to open up these different parts of their voice, one of two things is happening. Either there's a fear of it, so they're shying away from like the high notes, or they simply don't know it's there. They don't know that it's available to them and that it simply takes a different kind of approach to enter into that space. So we can discover what really is there through this exploration process. And as you explore, don't forget about the in-between. So yes, we've talked about the highs and the lows, the extremes of your range. But don't forget about the in-between. Playing with the break in your passaggio can be so much fun. So the passaggio is an Italian term for passage. It's that area of your voice that kind of acts as a bridge. You're passing between the chest voice and the head voice, like the lower range and the higher range. And that can be a really tricky problem spot. So I like to play with it, like lean into the hard break, or, try to see how gentle you can blend, or how gently you can blend the two together. This is simply exploration and play, and kind of going to those places that you shy away from, or that you've been told to stay away from. Well, play with it. I was trained to really blend that passaggio for a really smooth transition. So when I was trying to break myself out of this serious mindset and, the weight of trying to make it sound perfect, I went to this passaggio area and let myself do a hard break. Like, let myself see what it felt like to do some vocal fry. We know that's not good for the voice, but it's more about the practice of experimentation without letting preconceptions hold you back from trying things. I think about Regina Spektor, who is one of my favorite musicians. I love her music. But she takes risks with her voice. You can hear in her songs that she is playing. She plays with her voice. She makes these sound effects. And, sometimes I don't always like the sound effects. Like, sometimes I find it kind of disruptive to the greater picture of the song that she's singing. But talk about using your voice as an instrument and letting go of inhibitions and just making the sounds that you want to create because it feels good. So lastly, we're moving into deeper vocal improvisation. So you've made all the goofy sounds and you shake it all out. Get yourself flowing. Exercise the high range, the low range, play with the middle and the passaggio and different sound effects. And then as you're going deeper into improv, play with different emotions, expressing different emotions through your voice, especially the ones that feel scary. A way to do this is to practice singing the things you're afraid to say out loud. So this can happen first through improvising in the moment, but you can also do some journaling around this, and then perhaps refine those ideas into a song that expresses that fear while also saying what needs to be said. So that leaves a lot of creative liberty to open up and play with those different emotions that can sometimes feel heavy and scary or a little bit out there, and just let yourself go there. Lean into it and see what happens. A really fun exercise that you can do with one other person is like a call and response vocal improvisation. So this can start with echoing, like someone starts and the other person echoes what they sing. But then it can open up to playing off of one another's ideas. So it's almost like a question and answer. Like I ask a question and you come back with the answer through singing and improvising. So this becomes like a call and response improvisation together, which helps you bring all of these vocal play activities and open it up to another person hearing. And you're doing it together, so it feels safer. And in that way, you can begin to get more comfortable with sharing your voice in the wider world. But it starts small, doing that play with one other person, and then opening it up as you go to, playing with a group of people, and eventually sharing all that you've discovered in your voice and what you want to express through it. So it can be really helpful to bring another person into this process. And of course, my recommendation is working with a voice coach. A voice coach is a professional who is, yes, there alongside you and with you, but also someone who is outside of you, who can look at it from, the 40,000 foot view, taking into account all of their experience and understanding of the voice, and providing a safe environment to gently nudge you beyond your comfort zone. A voice coach knows how to open up those different parts of your voice. And they know which exercises or visualizations or concepts are needed in the moment and can pull them out and ease you into it. Give you examples, things to try, things to play with. They can be that second person to experiment with for that call and response exercise that I was talking about. They can hear when something is stuck or when something wants to move. And they can help you get out of your head and out of your own judgments and set you free from all of that to simply play. There are so many amazing voice coaches out there who can support you in this way. So if that's something that you've ever considered, working with a voice coach, then I encourage you to try it, see what it's like. And if you feel a resonance and a connection to me and my teaching style, and you decide that I am the coach for you, book a session with me. Head to reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. I'll also link that in the show notes. But this is something that you can, yes, begin the exploration on your own. Perhaps that's the most comfortable way to begin. But know that as you involve other people and share your voice little by little, that confidence builds. And as you learn more about how your voice works and how to access these parts of it, you are able to go deeper into discovery and ultimately finding your voice. So as kind of a quick summary. The key to unleashing the voice of the wild is play. Play. And through singing, through the development of your instrument, through playing with the many sounds it can make and experimenting with the many emotions it can convey, by taking risks and failing and getting back up and trying again, you will discover a deeper sense of your voice, a deeper understanding of who you are, and the confidence to express that in the world. So as a final thought, there are so many life lessons in singing and so many parallels to life. It's so rich in metaphors. This is something that you discover over time as you deepen your singing practice. But this lesson is no different. In exploring beyond your vocal comfort zone in terms of your singing voice, you can unlock the doors to your full, authentic expression that may have been closed off in the past. In physically opening up your singing voice, you are emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically opening up the pathways to your most authentic self. That is to say, your true essence, who you were designed to be. Free from all these invisible barriers that keep you from using the full spectrum of your voice to express the full spectrum of who you are and the message that's on your heart to share. Whether that be through singing or speaking or writing or dancing or creating or simply, yet perhaps most profoundly, through the way you live your life. So your homework today is to play. Go play. Go play outside, run around, roll around in the dirt, climb some trees. Hey friend, thank you so much for listening. If this episode unlocked something in you or moved you in some way, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're streaming this, and share this episode with a friend who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough. Until we meet again, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.